And we're live. Hey, it's Spence. I'm glad I made it. Barely made it today. I was at the knee doctor this morning. I got myself some steroids. So if I'm turning into the Hulk this morning, you'll know why. I think I should be safe. Let me double check my audio. Also, last evening, enjoying some outdoor barbecuing in 80-degree weather. It bit my tongue. So I have a distinct lisp right now, my left part of my tongue. I'm excited. A lot of things to be excited about here. Number one, I'm excited because I'm using my new ObSpot 4K camera with the gimbal, which I think is going to solve a lot of my problems with these webinars and also the resolution. I'm excited to see what happens when I go into this mode. It's looking very 4K. It's only projecting in 1080p through the live stream, but nevertheless, I think I'm pretty excited this is going to help that. Number two, I'm pretty sure I got the mic worked out. Today, I wanted to do something special. I'm laughing at myself because I can hear myself sounding like this. I want to talk about link tracking. Good morning, Ann. Glad you can make it. It is 82 degrees officially. You can kind of see when I share my screen here. Today, I want to talk about link tracking. And it sounds funny when I say it. I'm going to hide my notices here. I am using, for today's example, let me go to this screen. I'm using my actual 1WD live site because I actually use this tool. Here's the scenario. WPFusion allows us to apply tags or custom fields when people click or do or buy or subscribe. One of the most important places that this is going to apply is going to be when somebody clicks a link. Now, one of the things that's important to understand as a precursor to this is there's two states of where this might apply. One is when somebody is a prospect or a cold lead and they are not logged into your website. The second is when they are logged into your website. So as a bonus today, I'm not only going to show you how to track links on your website when somebody who has clicked has come into there, but when they actually click a link inside of an email that you've sent using Fluent CRM. It's a little bit more of a process to do that, but it's also equally valuable. So here's the scenario. You are taking a list of people. You are keeping them informed. If you would like to track whether they have clicked on an email, that is built into Fluent CRM. There's no problems with that. That's a native functionality inside of any email or email campaign. If you would like to track a specific link, you can create what Fluent CRM, I believe, calls, I want to call it dynamic links. What could be magic links? Hold on. Fluent CRM dynamic links. What do they call it? Smart links. There's always the term. Smart links allow you to put a special email link together that can be tracked. And this is useful as well. This is useful for people who are not yet logged in to your site. But WPFusion has something that they just released in the latest version, which I really love, and it works with Click Whale. So let's start with that. Here's the scenario. You've got a site like got WP Launchify, right? I want to know whether somebody goes to my site where I've got WPFusion operating and apply a tag if somebody comes to a particular place. Maybe, let me zoom out here. Maybe it's they've come to my pricing table, or better yet, maybe they've come to a special sales page like I have for practitioners where I'm offering an array of different options. And the reason that I want to know this is I want to know if they've clicked one button over the other. So here's a sales page, and I'm going to zoom these out a little bit, even though it's natural. I want to know whether they've clicked the Get Started or the Book a Free Call on this specific page. Now, we all know, or you should know, that you can also track whether they've come to the page in general. But on these buttons, here's how I'm going to do this. The Get Started today has a special URL. The Book a Free Call has a special URL. I can even put further parameters on this because these can be specific to the page that they're on. So even if the destination URL is common, I can make a button that has a special UTM parameter in it that doesn't do anything other than track the difference. So for example, let's take the link for Get Started Today, and I'm going to go to my favorite online free resource, Text Editor Online. This is just going to let me show you this in a more easy fashion. I sound like I'm making fun of myself a little bit with just, how can I get rid of that? Okay. Notice here that this is the direct to checkout link. If I wanted to, I could put a UTM parameter on it, like, and practitioner. That's not really an awesome way to do it, but I could say a UTM specific code, like campaign. So here, UTM codes, there's 5, I think, of them, maybe 6. There's source, medium, campaign, term, content. So I was right, there's 5. So let's say source or campaign would be the ones I could use. UTM source. I could do something like an UTM source equals practitioner. Practitioner. If I use this, it should still work to send the product to the cart. Let's see. I could be wrong, but I think it should still work. If it doesn't, I will adjust. Not sure if I broke it or if it's not working, so I may have to put these in a different order. Hi, Sharon. Good morning. I am in the process of sending the links. That's why my computer's a little slow, because I was at the knee doctor and I got a very good review as part of my rehab. He jabbed both knees full of steroids. So you're going to get the announcement to come here after you're already here. Okay, so it worked fine. And why is this relevant? Okay, it's relevant because now I've got a very unique code that is specific to this page. And I should say, it should have done source, UTM source. This can now be added to ClickWhale. And I know that even though it goes to a destination that other offers might lead to, this is the source of this one, the practitioner page. So I go over here to ClickWhale. And if you're not familiar, ClickWhale is ClickWhale plugin. This is included in the Minute Launch Software Bundle. It's the tool that I use for tracking links. It's useful for so many things. Free. It's amazing. It's a link manager. And even in the free version, it just does everything I need. So again, I'll zoom out a little bit. Let me know if you can't read these. I'm going to add a new link. And I'm going to say link title will say from the practitioner page, we're going to say get started practitioner, right? Get started practitioner offer. Whatever words you want to put in there that make it easier for you to understand. My knees are okay. I have the knees of an athlete. I need to keep them running. He said I could keep them. I don't probably have to have them replaced. I wish the rest of it was that easy, but I do feel a little bit of the steroid kicking in. So if I turn into the Hulk or something during this, you'll let me know. Now here's the slug. The slug we can customize, and I can do something like short and sweet. So I could do practitioner offer, whatever you want to do. Here's the important part. Put in the target URL that we just created. That will be unique to this particular one. It's an 82-degree day. I'm going to hit the bike right after this, guaranteed. Link target. Do we want this to open in a new window or same tab, etc.? Well, we can have this open in a new window or new tab based upon the same thing that I would have done here. Here, I have it stay in the same window because I'm sending somebody on a journey where I don't really need to keep this open. So if I click this, I want them to go right to the cart. So I'm going to say same tab window. No follow would not apply. I do want to track the follows and indexing because this is something that I'm okay if the robots get a hold of and do. And what I can do is make a note to myself. Note to self. This link tracks click-throughs on the offer from practitioner page to checkout. And we all know what it does later. Here's the magic. You notice this new tab here for WPFusion. This is where we can now apply a tag. Now, I don't have a tag for this yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Fluent CRM here in my actual Fluent CRM, and I'm going to open in a new tab. Let's make a new tag for this click, and we're going to make it semantical. So I go in Fluent CRM under tags, and I'm going to make semantical, meaning action, subject of the action. Clicked, practitioner offer. Notice a couple things. I have a semantical tag that is 3 parts to it, 3 words. You can use more, it just gets confusing. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. But if somebody came along and just saw that for the first time, they would understand what it does. It wouldn't be hard. So don't use weird codes like HTC 4567 or something. Do something that's practical. Second of all, I follow that pattern, action, subject of the action. And then you can have a third thing, which would be like, if there's more than one subject, you can have subject of the action and then a specific thing for that subject, like Black Friday or something. In this case, clicked practitioner offer. And I can make a subtitle if I want for myself to track who buys offer from sales page. And this is just down the road what this tag is keeping track of so that later I understand in the Fluent CRM, what the hell is this thing useful for? Okay. Now that I've got that, it's a good idea to synchronize the tags. So what I will oftentimes do is I'll open up another tab and I'll just use the button at the top of the page that allows me to synchronize. Actually, I have to be in the dashboard for this. Allows me to synchronize WPFusion. So once I'm in the admin dashboard, see this tab here, I will refresh the available tags and fields. And it just take a second. Okay, let me close down a couple things. Now back to where we were. I am going to save this link for a moment just to make sure I've got the WPFusion tag available. So maybe it's better to recommend make your tags first. When I go to WPFusion, now I can look for clicked, and there is the tag. I save this. I now have a short link that accomplishes 2 things. It takes somebody and puts the product into the checkout when they click the button, but it will also apply the tag. Now, what do I have to do? I have to copy that link, and I have to go back here, and I have to replace the original link with that one. Otherwise, it will not be tracking. Hello. So let's do that. And again, my computer is a little slow because it is still sending out the email. Let me see if it's done yet. It's done. Okay, I'm going to close that. I send everything out through the very same computer that I'm demonstrating on today. That's why it's a little slow. So I click on this, and then I'm going to replace. Ooh, I am dizzy. I just got a little dizzy from the steroids. Woohoo! If anybody needs to call 911, I'll let you know. Click save. And what we can do is see whether or not this will work. Now, one of the things that's important to remember is WPFusion is not going to track the clicks and the links and the other stuff to apply a tag if it's the admin logged in, because I've set mine up that the admin gets a pass. They get an exception because otherwise it would be ridiculous. You'd be tracking a million things while you're testing. But what we can do is either log in as somebody else, or I can just on my own do an incognito once this finishes saving. And again, forgive me, it's a little slower than normal, but this is actually my live CRM. And it was in the middle of still sending out all those emails. So I'm getting double duty out of this. Normally it just takes 1 second and it saves. Hopefully this goes a little faster. Okay. While that is doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open an incognito window, which you guys won't see. And I'm going to go to that practitioner page. So what I'll do in anticipation of this is set this up now that it's saved. So I'm going to click here. Let's go to Click Whale. Let's look in general. If we go to links, there should be information on which links have been clicked. And by the way, you can see this. I think it's here. Hold on. I think I have to look somewhere else to see the stats. Hold on. You know, it's interesting. I do these live without a net. I always thought that it showed the stats right here because I want to show the stats and I also want to show that the tag is applied. But let me see something because Click Whale, where to view stats. I thought it was on that same page. Let's just take a look. Click Whale dashboard analytics section. Maybe that's only in the Pro. Let's take a look at their thing and see if maybe it's in the Pro. Yeah, Click Whale Pro. I don't think I have the Click Whale Pro installed. I'm just using the free one. So I'm going to have to pass on this because it wasn't. I'm going to see if I can put Click Whale Pro in. In fact, hold on. Let me see if I can grab an account for that. If I can't do that right now, I'll do it later. But the point is, if I can put Click Whale Pro in, I'll put it in for you guys. I don't think it's super important, but it's just good information to know in general. I don't have the, I'm not going to be able to get that installed real quick. But so what I'm going to do is this. Instead, let's just try to see if we can go view the information about the tags, right? All right. To do that, let's do a test account. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in as my test account. I'm going to make a person here. Let's go to the Fluent dashboard. Let's make a new contact, add contact, just so I can demonstrate. Okay, we're going to say Mr. Test Spence 100. Test Spence 100 at labsecrets.com. And I'm going to just put me on the main list, create the contact. And I'm subscribed. So I'm going to change me to an actual customer. Okay, let's see what happens if I was to click this. I have to be, I'm thinking out loud. In order for this to work properly, I have to be logged in as Test Spence. So what I'm going to do is go over into my dashboard, and I'm going to use the switch to, which I think I have here. Hold on one second. No, I can't do that. Let me think. I've got all these live contacts. I'm going to have to, what can I do with this? I have to be logged in. I'm going to have to go a different direction. I'm going to have to show this. Let's see if this will apply to me as the admin. I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I'm going to see if it applies to me, the admin. So let's go ahead and look at this page live. Otherwise, what I have to do is I have to create a user on this demo site because I don't normally have users there. It's a remote CRM, but it's okay. And again, I'm not embarrassed to have like my doing this live because this is like what your brain goes through. I've never used my CRM site to track these links. I'm actually on WP Launchify right now. So the truth is, I would probably have to have that test 100 Spence be a user over here. I may switch to somebody else on WP Launchify, but let's just see as the admin if this works. I'm going to click the link. And I'm logged in as Spence, the admin here. One of the things also that just normally when you click on this, you won't have this delay. The delay is 100% because I'm just doing all this stuff through, including recording and stuff through one server. Normally, if you click, it would just go. Okay, it looks like it's there. Let's take a look and see if it worked for me as the admin. I'm not 100% sure if it did, but we'll find out. So I'm going to look for me, help at WP Launchify, and see if I'm even in there, because I normally don't track myself as the admin. And let's look at my tags. And it does not. So I'm going to have to do this. While you guys wait for 1 extra second, I'm going to go ahead and switch to, turn off that screen. I'm going to switch to being test user. Hang with me. We're all going to be fine. And I'm using the switch to plugin. Which I do have on WP Launchify, but I just didn't think it through because I was coming right from the doctor that I would need a test user to demonstrate this. So stay lovey. Okay, so test user, I'm making it right now and I'm just not showing you the screen. Test Spence 100 at Lab Secrets. This is the boring part of the show. Test Spence 100. Okay. All right, now that I'm logged in, I'm going to reshare the screen and we're going to be good to go. And I'm going to also do this thing where I'm going to show you, I'm going to switch to this user using the switching to plugin. I used to have a standalone one. Now we use what's the Login Me Now, which is fine. Okay, so let me show you this now. Here's Test Spence, and I'm going to use switch to. So now, sorry for maybe 1 or 2 people that just got outed as being users. Not my intention. Okay, now let's go to that practitioner page. Now I've got a test account that I can work off of. Sorry. Let's click. Now test user or test Spence 100 is the person who's logged in. Click in the link. And this should show when we go and look at test Spence 100 that he gets this tag applied, right? It's still a little janky and slow just because what I'm doing, but again, not apologizing too much again. So now I got that in the cart. Let's go. Here's test Spence 100. Let's refresh, cross your fingers. It should apply the tag. And it did not, which is interesting. I'm going to try it one more time. I just want to make sure it's set up right because again, sometimes because this is a remote Fluent CRM, I need to go ahead into WPFusion and make sure that it is synchronized fully. So I'm going to try this one more time. By the way, what this is not going to be happy about here. Oh, no, it's okay. I'm not logged in as this. So what I'm going to do is synchronize one more time the settings, WPFusion. I'm going to refresh the tags. And if that doesn't work, one of the things I'm going to do, just because again, I'm working without a net here, is I'm going to try removing that extra parameter because maybe that's screwing it up. We'll see. Okay. So I fully synchronized. Everything's good here. Let's click back to the test 100 account. Let's try as test 100 dude. Let's click on this and see if it works. Get started today. I can see it's got this shortcut, practitioner offer. Okay, and that should, the quantity is 2. Now let's refresh this and see whether I got the tag. I still did not. So now that makes me feel like we have to adjust. So let's go back over here. Let's take off that parameter. I like to admit factually when I am not correct. I suspect that the parameter is breaking it. So I'm going to take off the UTM. This is all good, still permanent. WPFusion still has the tag. Now, there's one other possibility here. I'm not 100% sure of this. One of the other possibilities is this click whale does not exist at the location where they're clicking the button. And so again, this is giving me an office hours where they're gonna be like, Spence, you sure you know this stuff? 18 years. I suspect that maybe the alternative reason why this might not be working is because click whale in this case is running on the 1WD site, but I'm really trying to track a click that's happening over on the WP Launchify site. And that might be the reason. So I'm going to try this both ways. Let's take the short link here and put it on 1WD just as an example button to see. So to do that, what I do is I'm going to take the slug of this link. I'm going to copy it. Let's just make a page, even though I normally don't do this. And I'm going to add a sales page or just a page to put this button on and see if that works on its own, which probably will. Test button, click whale. I'll just do advanced button or button. Get the practitioner offer now. Put the link in here. And again, we'll try it first without. My practitioner link should be practitioner offer. Yeah, that's correct. I just took the UTM code off. I suspect this is going to work, but we're going to find out. Sharon is saying the preview link shows something different. Let's see what happens here. The downside of this is I'm not logged in as the Spence 100 here. This is where this all gets really tricky for my demo today, because this will work. It'll direct me to the page, but the problem is that I'm supposed to be doing this not as Spencer Foreman. I'm supposed to be doing this as test 100. So still doesn't work there. And I'm going to just check me here to see if doing it this way, help at WP Launchify, worked, because I'm logged in over there as not working there. Okay, I'm going to try one other thing. This is kind of weird, but just because I'm just crazy about this stuff, I'm going to go in WP Launchify. And even though I haven't been using it, I'm going to put Click Whale in on WP Launchify because I suspect that must be the reason for this. So I'm not going to share me installing it. It'll take me just 1 second. Let me pop that in real quick and see whether or not that actually does it. So the takeaway that I've got right now, after all said and done, on this very spontaneous, let's do this topic before I set it up, is you probably are going to need to have your Click Whale installed on the site where the clicks are occurring, and then be the user logged in. And I could just accomplish this on my remote site by creating an account on 1WDTV as a user. But the reason I don't want to do that is because I don't have users on 1WDTV. I'm being selfish and lazy, and sorry. It's easier for me to put Click Whale in over on WP Launchify real quick and see if that does the trick. So hang in there. I'm not showing you my screen for what I'm doing, but I'm just going to put Click Whale in because it takes 2 seconds, and then I can show you that. And we'll try this one last time. And then we'll pretend like all of this flying and fixing the engine while we're in flight didn't occur. Okay, I'm installing it now. Just one more click, and then we'll set it up together. And let me do this too, so I can make this easier for all of us. I will make sure that I can share what I'm sharing on the dashboard. And then you can go along with me for the journey. Okay. This could be the worst office hours I've had recently. I think it's safe for me to share what I've got. So I'm going to go ahead, and I just don't want to do anything that puts my own business in jeopardy by showing you stuff I'm not supposed to show you. So here's the back end of WP Launchify, and I've got Click Whale. Should have Click Whale. Bear with me, guys. Sorry. I'm going to blame it on the steroids. Right. I'm going to actually do this. What I'm going to do, Sharon, is I'm going to put Click Whale on WP Launchify, because that way I can have the click link and the user be test 100 Spence. That's the secret sauce to this, is that the Click Whale has to exist in the same space, which it's interesting because we do have the benefit of remote clicking with WPFusion and Fluent, but apparently the clickability of that plugin is not going to work across the remote connection. It has to be the Click Whale link has to be, I'm suspecting, on the same site where the action is taking place. I'm just having a rough morning here. If this doesn't work, my fallback, so that today is not a disaster, is that I'll just use 1WD. I'll add a user there as a test user, because that's my fallback to do the same thing. What I've been using, and I'll hopefully have enough time after the fiasco of this first start, is what I've been using myself, is I've been using Click Whales for tracking links in general, but I've not been applying tags. I've been applying tags on the destination, which I'll also show you. All right, so this is giving me a hard time saying that it's already there, which I'm going to give this 30 seconds more. If I don't get it, I'm going to plan B. And the reason I'm not showing you this stuff to you guys is because right now I'm going inside of my admin hosting account to just clear whatever that original attempt at installing was. And I don't want to share that. So anyway, Mrs. Lincoln, other than that, how did you enjoy the play? That's what I would say under these circumstances. So plugins, and again, you cannot see this, so I apologize. Click Whale. I'm deleting the folder, and now I'm going to share it back. Come on, you can do it. Okay. So I'm going to do this just one more time from scratch and see if I can get that working. You know me. I've been doing live work. I appreciate the support, by the way. I've been doing live stuff since 2006. I've had more than a few instances where things didn't work out. One of the beauties of doing it this way is I think it helps you guys and anybody who watches this video realize that, especially for me at 58, I like to demonstrate to my customers and clients and friends that I have just as many difficulties as you do some days. And it's not because I don't understand the concept. It's just that it's like some days I can't tie my shoes. Today I can't talk. I bit my tongue. I mean, it's just life. So what I did is I deleted the original folder. Now I'm installing ClickWhale. Let's pretend I'm in a time machine, right? And I just started doing this. Okay. So what I've got is I can take from my other setup if I wanted the particular thing, or I'll just go back over here, right? So I've got the page. I'm just going to copy the link. Yeah, I know what it was. It was add to cart, blah, blah, blah. But let's actually do it so I don't have to take any mistakes. I'll go to ClickWhale on the 1WD TV. I'm going to go in and just edit this, and I'll copy this verbatim. Okay. So Control A, Control C, and I'm going to make a new one here. Add a new link. I'll also hide notices using Minute Launch so that it's not annoying everybody with all the billboards. And put the target URL. Put that in. Put this in. So let's pretend, because I'm not going to edit any of this out. Let's pretend I had a time machine and I was just doing this originally. Okay. I won't restate all of the stuff. And let's say same window. Okay. And I don't think I had that checked. And if it works, then I'm going to go ahead and put back in the UTM practitioner variable. I now am going to use WPFusion now that I've sort of saved this. I'm going to add the tag again, which is clicked. Clicked. Interesting to me is this tag is not showing up. Now, that tells me a couple things. When that happens, sometimes what I'll do is add tag manually to one person. I don't know why that's helpful, but it seems that sometimes if a tag is not in use, it won't work, right? So I'm just going to take Steve here. I'm just going to give him the clicked practitioner offer. The reason that I didn't add it there is because I'm using, Sharon is bringing a point. I am using the remote Fluent CRM on 1WD. I don't have Fluent CRM installed on WP Launchify. So I've now added it to a singular contact. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to synchronize WPFusion here. And it should make the tag available. But that's the reason, Sharon. That's a great perception. I'm glad you picked up on that. It's that I don't have a CRM installed here. I have one CRM on 1WD, and WP Launchify and a number of other sites connect to it as a hub. But I love the fact that you're on the ball with me. There it is. So here's a trick. Another thing that I don't know, the bad start revealed. Sometimes if you're using the hub method, you need to install the tag to one person, anybody. And in doing so, then WPFusion is able to see it as an available tag when you synchronize your remote sites. So now I've got what I need. I'm going to save it. I'm then going to copy that link. Well, I don't need to. I made that link available already on the practitioner page, right? Because the link that I was doing was this. That's not right. The link that I was doing was this. That already exists here. All right. Final step. I'm going to go back to being logged in as test 100 or Spence. And in doing so, this should allow me to test this properly. Okay. Let's cross our fingers. So test 100. Test Spence 100. I'm in the wrong account. Sorry. Having just one of those days. Maybe it is the steroids. I'm going to switch to Spence in WP Launchify. Oh, that's your friend. Tell him sorry I outed him. I don't mean to out anybody. Let's refresh. I should be logged in up here as test Spence 100. And I'm really crossing my fingers because otherwise I'm just going to go and ride my bike and tell you guys I'll see you next week. I think it's going to work. I'm clicking the button. Pretend all this other stuff didn't happen. The magic of editing. You know, Oprah has a new podcast and she's on YouTube. She only has 400,000 subscribers, but it's amazing. I'm seeing Oprah on YouTube and she is really talented, of course. She's on YouTube, like sort of, you could tell, feeling her way through the process. Okay. I Spence 100, clicked on this. I'm going to go back over to 1WD where I've got my Fluent CRM. I'm going to go in the dashboard. Let us please see the tag applied to the test Spence 100. Come on, baby. Damn it. I do not have the answers as to why this isn't working. So it's a shit show. It's just a shit show today. I do not know why this didn't work. I'm going to have to talk to Jack about this. I suspect it is possible that I assumed incorrectly that this would work across the remote stuff. So here is the plan B. The plan B for all of this is when you're using WPFusion and you want to know whether somebody has clicked the link or done something, you can always apply a tag dynamically with the link itself. You can do that using the link tracking capability with the apply tag. You can also do it when you get to a destination page. So just so I don't sound like I've lost my mind, WPFusion documentation. Let me show you another way of doing this. And I am so sorry, but I cannot do anything about why this demo is not working. I did not try it in advance. I thought it was presumptively going to work, but with the remote CRM, not. I will try one thing I could if I had the time. I'm not going to torture you. Set this up on another site where I've got Fluent CRM, but I'm not. I'm going to do click tracking. And I think he actually uses the word link tracking. So if you go link, click tracking, one thing we need to do is you need to set this up in your CRM to enable it. And so I'm pretty sure I've already got this set up over in my CRM where I've got WPFusion and Fluent. I just want to make sure that I've got that enabled. That will allow me to track any links whatsoever. And in doing so, you go to settings, WPFusion. And it's on the front page. I'm quite sure it's on the front page. Let's see. Oh, sorry. It's under advanced. I thought it was on the front page. So it's under advanced. And it is not turned on. You know what? I am not sure, but now I'm curious to know whether or not maybe that had something to do with it. I do not know. I bet it might. Before I give up all hope, Obi-Wan, link tracking, the script's there. Let me see if that changes anything, because what that otherwise does is that's the traditional way of doing things. And all you need to do is have a data tag applied in your URL or whatever. So let's do two things. First of all, if I just take the HTML version of this, since 90% of the way there, let's go over here to our 1WD and let's go to the page that I created. Let's just, for shits and giggles, I bet it works too. Let's just go to this draft of the page and let's just modify it to put in what we were trying to do, which is test button click whale. It's all a learning experience for me too. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in add after, and I'm going to do HTML because I just had the code. In this, I'm going to take the link here and I'm just going to copy it. And I'm going to use that here. And then the tags I'm going to apply are going to be, with Fluent, it could be the ID of the tag if you want, or it can be the semantical. I'm going to just be safe than sorry. And I'm going to get the ID. So if I go into the Fluent dashboard again, I'll just take the ID of the tag so I know that I don't screw this up. And it's tag 109. And I'm going to say get the practitioner offer now. Okay. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put this on the WP Launchify site as well, so I don't have to do this twice. Okay. Let me switch back to being spent. If I make it through this office webinar, I can make it through anything. I'm going to add a new page. Thanks, Sharon. I appreciate the support. I'm in a good mood. It's sunny. It's a gorgeous day. Everything else is fine. This is just fun with WordPress. Come on, kid. You can do it. Let's go. By the way, worth mentioning, my other site that's fast is on Rocket. The WP Launchify site has a lot going on, and it's on Cloudways. I'm going to be moving that over to Rocket as well. That's my last site on Cloudways. Test, click link, page, office hours. So I know what to delete later. Okay. I'm going to paste this in. And the reason is because if I switch to being test 100 Spence, I need something over here to click to. Let's try both once that saves. Number one, man, I hope this works. Let's go over here. And this is me as Spencer at 1WDTV, which, by the way, that is what I should be looking for. Let's do two things. Let's click this link here as Spencer at 1WDTV. Let's go over here and look for Spencer at 1WDTV instead of help at WP Launchify. That might have been also another problem. It's the roids. Let's see if it applied the tag. Oh, it worked. No, I'm not surprised it worked. So that's the traditional one. Let's remove that while I'm at 1WD. I guess I should feel good that at least it worked. Let's see if the click whale one. This is me as the admin, Spencer at 1WDTV. Let's click this and see if this applies the tag now that I enabled. And by the way, I'm not sure, but I'll look at Jack's documentation. Exactly. High five. About whether or not the enabling link tracking was required. Maybe I just didn't read the instructions, which is something that happens with me. Okay, refresh the page, crossing fingers. Oh, it worked. Oh my God. All right. Yay. I'm deleting all 40 minutes of this and we're zooming to this. So kids, hey, it's Spence. Welcome to Friday. Guess what you got to do? I always get there in the end. And you know me, you've been with me through all kinds of crazy stuff. Persistence is my middle name. Let's take a look at Jack's documentation and see, because if not, I'm going to tell Jack or the team to add this in. I bet it's in there and I just didn't read. Setup when editing. Okay. It's not in there, but one of the things that I do when I work with Jack and the rest of the team is I let him know in the real world, we need a line in there that says enable click tracking. Let's prove whether that's the truth. But I'm so happy that it works even across the remote site. Let's test my theory. And you know how this works. I'm going to prove my theory by, first of all, let's get rid of that tag. So I can do this again. Then let's go to settings, WPFusion. Let's turn off enable link tracking. And then if it doesn't work anymore, we know that that has to be in the instruction manual or the documentation, which, by the way, Jack and I have such a great relationship. He's so awesome. He's got 800 billion things to do. The reason that we work together so well on things like this is that I'm in the field digging trenches with, you guys. And it's hard to know what happens in the real world. I'm going to turn off link tracking. Not sure why I didn't have that on anyway, because it should be on for almost everybody as it is. If this doesn't work, we know that now the whole thing is good. And what we've done together is accomplished a great goal, which is we figured out not only how to do this, but what needs to be done in our documentation at the minute launch system. Let's do it, kids. Pressing the button, crossing fingers that it does not work. And then if it doesn't work, we're going to turn it back on and prove that it works. Okay. Going back into the contact CRMs. This turned out to be better than I expected, because since it did get it to work as it should have, I feel like a sense of accomplishment of basically proving what needs to be known in order for this to be easy. Spencer at 1WDTV. Okay. You do not need the link tracking clicked. What you needed to have happen, it seems, is that you probably needed to be a real user, not logged in as somebody using Switch 2. You need to not be the admin. So, takeaway from all of this. We got it to work, but it will only work when it's an actual user, not using the Switch 2. And I think the reason for that makes sense because, like, probably WPFusion and Fluent don't know that that's the real user because it's just a proxy through JavaScript. 2, it cannot be the admin of the site because we're not tracking the admin's behavior. But it does, even without enabling click tracking, allow you to set up a scenario like we've got here where you can have one of two ways. The easier way is using click whale, because then you can manage the tags and you can also manage the, where it goes and when. And if you use the pro version, maybe I'll get it for you. You can see who clicked what, when, where, and why, and how many. But you can also accomplish the same thing using the native click tracking if you want to make a button or a link or something else. Now, by the way, if I wanted to turn this into a pretty button real easy, all I would have to do in HTML is say class equals button. And bonus for you guys who've stuck around with me, ta-da, it's a button. If I wanted to center it, what I would do in this case is I would, a couple different ways you can center it. HTML doesn't work, but what you can do is put it inside of a wrapper, inside of a row, or you can put the syntax. This is my own personal trick. Add after. I just use the advanced heading. And then I'll just paste in a couple letters, paste the rest of it there. Okay. Let's do it like this, actually. Oh, no, actually, I can't. It just made me think of something. You can't do that. You can't do that with this. You have to do it differently. So with that, you'd have to do like CSS or something. You'd have to center the button. Maybe you could get away by doing it like this with a row, and then you put that inside of the row, and then the row you can say align center. That will probably do the trick. Yeah. Okay. So even if you're using HTML, you can achieve the same goal, but in sum, after all that drama, we did accomplish what was necessary. Now, the one thing that I think was really interesting as a takeaway, and then I'm just going to wrap this up because I know when to quit when I'm sort of behind. At first, I was suspicious that we might have needed click whale on WP Launchify. I don't think that you do, because we were clicking over here on Fluency on 1WDTV. We weren't clicking on WP Launchify. This link was working either way because it was essentially the link was going to 1WD, doing the information, processing it, and then sending them along. So it was talking to the 1WD site, and then ClickWhale was working with WPFusion to apply the tag. All right. What's the takeaway from today? A couple things. First of all, I was happy I could make it today because I wasn't sure with my appointment. Met a really cool doctor, Dr. Lilly, for my knees. And my whole body mechanics, obviously the knees, the back, the toes, they all work together. So I needed to get my knees functioning. My legs are working fine. My neuropathy is wacky. I'm in between trying to figure out if I'm going to keep rehabbing, get a steroid injection in my back, maybe do another surgery. But I'm actually really working fine. I just have a lot of neuropathy. So I'll take responsibility for my own medical stuff and say I'm very happy that I could make it today. I wanted to do something fun, and I read about this and I thought it was useful. I wish I could do more for today, but what I'm going to do is call do over, and at least we got some useful diagnostic spends in action. So I think the takeaway for today is not so much the click whale. It's that when you have a problem, you need to basically triage it. You need to work backwards from like what you know through the things you don't know. And by a process of elimination, you can oftentimes find where the issues were. And then you saw that last step where I was thinking it was going to be the link tracking has to be enabled in WPFusion, but I've demonstrated that that's not necessarily the case at all. And again, Anne, Sharon, thank you for your support. And anybody who watches this, one of the things that I enjoy in my WordPress adventures over these 20 plus years or so, or 19 years or so, is that my brain enjoys figuring out problems. So in a weird way, it's not like I want the problems, but you have to have that persistence. But here's the good news. The minute launch system that I'm offering to you guys allows me to test all this shit, figure it out, and then document it. So when you come along or your client comes along, these things won't be hard, right? So what will ultimately happen is that this will be documented as, let's say, one of the recipes in the actual finished version of this. This is the in progress version. So that how to set up link tracking. It's just going to have, here's the ingredients, ClickFunnels, ClickWhale, WPFusion. It's going to say step 1, step 2. By the way, don't be an admin. This won't work if you're switched to somebody else. Okay. All right. I'm going to call Uncle. I appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for your support. You Sharon and Anne in particular really got me through today. I'm going to go enjoy the 82-degree weather, stretch out, have something to eat, soak up some vitamin D. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And for all of you, one last thing is a pitch, and tell Steve I'm sorry, I didn't mean to out him. One of the things I want you to understand too is I've had some amazing conversations already since last Friday. I've had some original takers on my new offer, the pro offer. So one of the things, let me just real quick run through what that is. The minute launch system 2025 has now boiled down to this. Everybody who's been on LaunchKit is the same. 97 a month, 970 a year. One site. You can use the software unlimited, but you're going to have one site that you get the convenience of what will be the minute launch installer. It's now called the Launch Kit installer. This is a no-brainer. Unlimited emails to me, all the software and updates, launch club access for the social network, the office hours, and so forth, plus the hosting. The Pro is 10 sites. I can't say sites with my tongue. 10 accounts. So if you pay monthly, you get everything of the single site at a cost of under $30. Why? Because actually with Ann's help, I worked through all of this. I can give you an agency account at Rocket. I'm still only supporting you, but you get all of your sites or your client sites at a combined cost of only $30 per month. Okay. That's a good deal because that's all contained. You get the software, the installer, the minute launch, just as if it was the thing. The only difference is I'm only going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to your 10 clients. But that's a great deal. You get the whole package, everything standalone, and you get your own agency dashboard in Rocket, which I will set up for you. If you pay in advance for the year, I will save you 16%. And that means 12 months for the price of 10. And this is the magic. But you get to be one of my early adopters and hopefully ongoing clients for all of the tools that I have built and am building for running your own client business based upon the Minute Launch system. So being able to launch Rocket sites, doing the AI stuff, doing the other tools that I use for managing the client relationships with me, using the very same set of stuff, plus the things that I'm already demonstrably building, right? One of which is the engine to automatically do customer support or create content, social media. If you pay in advance, not pay more, pay less, but just put it on your credit card, I'm happy to have you in my Pro club for the back end management and dashboard stuff. And maybe if you want, I can even develop custom tools for you because I see the potential of those for selling to the rest of the people who want to be there. Okay. This has worked out, I think, in trial and error this last year to be a really good situation. Most everybody is on the Launch Kit Singular. A few of you guys have been buying extra sites, but if you want to do this for your clients, this is a way that I can save you $60 per site and even get all the same stuff that I'm using to run this scalable business. And I want you to go on the journey with me if you're interested in it. Okay. My energy is going away. I'm going to say bye-bye. I will do better. Email me if you have questions. If you see this video, have a good chuckle, have a beer on my behalf. I will be back twice as strong for the next office hours. And hopefully, if I can, I'm going to set it up for the new Pro clients. I'm going to do a live webinar because I want to demonstrate the new way of launching a site using what I'm calling the quick launch system, which is i.e. the Mad Lib system. I'll see you guys then. Peace.